Yeah. All right. Well, that will go on the bucket list.
All right, let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Good Stuff Podcast.
Oh, God.
Why did your voice sound like Neo's on the Matrix just then whenever he had the metal going down his throat?
Should we all four try to do the intro at the same time on this episode?
I mean, if you want.
It won't work.
It won't. All right. We're going in 3. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 28 of The Good Stuff.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this 20.
It's not an echo.
Everybody. Welcome to the Good Stuff.
Why the fuck did we get a countdown timer if we weren't all doing it?
I said it to myself. Y'all remember when I said we're going to get on here at 12:25 and get right to recording? God, that was a good dream.
Because Ryan was... I wasn't going to do it, and then Ryan started, and then I started cracking up. I couldn't get a word out.
All right. I'm going to go for real now.
Are we getting a countdown again?
Nope. I was just trying to count down myself. Just so the rest of you would shut up. But, okay. Apparently that meant...
You're listening to the Good Stuff Podcast with C.K. Helms, Zach Bandit, Ryan Mullins, and Jeremiah Elliott.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 28 of the Good Stuff Pod. You know what? You know what you're listening to. Brad already did this. Episode 28 of the Good Stuff Podcast, brought to you by Blind Bandit Productions. To find more about us, go to blindbanditproductions.com. I'm barely here, C.K. Helms. No one else. Anyone else?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Good Stuff Podcast, episode 28. Brought to you by Blind Bandit Productions. I'm Jeremiah Elliott.
I'm C.K. Helms.
And I can't talk right now because I'm too busy laughing. But I'm Zach Bandit.
Brian's here too.
I'm Ryan Mullins.
There you go. Oh, guys. It is professionalism here on the Good Stuff Podcast, guys. You can't find a better group of professional guys like
Hey,
us.
you guys.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Good Stuff Podcast, episode. I'm just going to keep breaking into the intro the whole episode.
Entire
I'm
time.
your host, Zach Bandit. These are my guests, Jeremiah Elliott, C.K.
Hi.
Helms, I'm Mullins.
What's up? All right, guys. Let's get right into it. We're going to open the show up. And the first part of the show here, the opener here, is we're going to talk about how Blind Bandit Productions has absorbed the Gotham Knights project. Zach, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that involves?
So we absorbed the project and...
Excellent job.
Well, you always put me in the spot.
Because you're in the intro, Zach.
It was like
Ryan's
when
in-
you use the word in the definition of the word.
Basically, long story short, the production company that was running Gotham Knights wasn't doing their job, so we took over.
Yeah, basically that's what it is, which is, I mean,
It's
originally...
kind of like whenever the employees go on strike, and then next thing you know, they own the business.
We did a hostile takeover. It wasn't really that hostile, but that's kind of what the name is in a business standpoint, I guess. But
It was very smooth. It was a smooth hostile takeover.
It was more like a lost and found situation. Like,
just-
is this anyone's project? And then no one raised their hand, so we just kind of slipped it in the pocket.
And so, I mean, for now, we're putting off Gotham Knights. If we do get back to it, it won't be until sometime 2020 or even later than that. But if we do get back to it, then we're probably just gonna turn it into just a feature film rather than 4 episodes.
Well, I mean, we're not going to refilm everything. We're just going to take the parts 1 and part 2, and then the 4 micro shorts, combine them with parts 3 and 4 once we finish those, and then combine it all, make it into a feature film, and maybe take some stuff out, make it all cohesive and stuff like that. But
It'll be like a thing.
it'll be
Why
like a
don't-
thing.
Why don't we reshoot it all, but with different actors?
That's like a reboot.
No, he's saying keep parts 1 and 2 that have been released, and then when the part 3 comes in, it's just all different actors for no reason.
No reason. Don't say anything.
I'll
Yeah,
play
yeah.
the Joker.
I want to be Harley Quinn this time.
I mean, you're kind of fairy-like. So,
So
Wow.
anyway,
anyways, guys, it's kind of a bittersweet moment because me and Zach, we started the project. We started it as me, the writer, producer, and Zach being the director and cinematographer and stuff like that. And it was something I created a long time ago, and then Zach got me to explain to me how fan films, you can make them as long as you don't make money off of them. And so that's what was it, in Walgreens back in 2013.
yeah, we're just randomly shopping in Walgreens, and I remember you told me that story, and I said, "Let's just make Gotham Knights." And then I don't know if it was that night or whatever, but on my birthday, we stayed up all night and we shot that teaser, which actually turned out really well.
The original teaser, which I don't know if I wasn't friends with Ryan at the time, and I don't think I was friends with Jeremiah at the time, so I don't know
Yeah.
if they even saw that
I don't think
original
so.
teaser.
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys in the message later. I have it on my Google Drive, but
But we literally came up we stayed up all night long. We shot the teaser. We made the Facebook page, the YouTube. We made a logo. We did everything you possibly can think of for this project, and had started announcing it like a couple of days beforehand. Like, we got a big project coming, and blah blah blah. This is our first thing, and I mean, it was a big deal because like 100-something people auditioned for that original Gotham Knights show, which
it was
huge.
crazy. Like, I was surprised how many people showed. Like, that's when I knew. Like, I didn't know how big like the film community was in Arkansas at the time. And then
Yeah, I was
when we
thoroughly
did that,
surprised that it was like when I showed up and it was y'all were like, come down to the Clinton Library. I was like, oh, this is like a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and the year with the second round, whenever we brought the project back, and I mean, it wasn't even a fourth. I think it was about a fourth of the amount of people, maybe a third of that did the original thing. It was a whole different level, man. I wish you could have been there at that original and seen it, but as we said, Gotham Knights is on hold for now. BBP's absorbed it. We're right now merging all our pages together, which was really easy to do on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, but apparently Facebook is really stingy about it. So it's like a long process of apparently we have to go through like 2 weeks process just to change over all the pages together to merge them and make them duplicate pages so then we can merge them. But on the opener every week, the past 3 weeks we've been doing it now, we have a top 5 list. And so I want to talk about I want us to do the top 5 GK moments. Now, these GK moments can be on screen, or they can be stuff that happened behind the scenes of moments that happened for GK. And I'm going to start us off, if that's okay with everybody.
wait, there was GK moments.
GK, there was. You probably weren't there for any of the behind the scenes, but I mean, as far as the new GK stuff. But I'm going to start with number 5. We'll go around and then we'll do number 4 and stuff like that. Number 5 to me was Ryan operating the clacker. Now, see, you guys might not know this, but Jeremiah, you were actually there. I made a meme based on Ryan whenever he was running the clacker at the villain hideout scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it to Ryan and some other people. I don't think I sent it to you. But there was several times during that day where Ryan would take he would do take 1 on the clacker, and then he would do take 3, and then he would go back and do take 2.
Yep, I remember that. That was
And
great.
so I made a meme of Ryan, and it said, "I don't always do take 3, or always do take 2, but when I do, it's after take 3."
Yep. Oh, that's awesome.
It was such a good little moment, inside joke between us and the crew, and so there for you guys that just watch the show and don't know anything about the filming process. Ryan was good fun whenever he was learning how to film stuff.
Yeah.
Zach?
Oh, and I have a bad memory, but for some reason I didn't see this top 5 list, or I skimmed past it. But number five for me is editing Gotham Knights and watching Ryan act, and he's like, and then talks and just sighs before every sentence. Yeah, that's my favorite moment. My number 5. Anyway.
This was I swear to God, this wasn't planned, bro.
Use that.
Ryan.
My top 5 was actually audition day, whenever I surprised all the auditors for that with a surprise audition where I brought in Sarah Ring to actually do the audition scene, and the look on everybody's face whenever they were really surprised that not only was I auditioning, but I was really good at it.
I mean, you got to give the kid credit. He actually did pretty good, and we did cast him because of that. So, I was the only one that knew he was doing it. So,
and I got slapped in front of everybody to prove a point.
It was nice. Jeremiah, what was your number 5?
My number 5 has to be when y'all came up. I don't know if you were there with him, but when Dustin came up to the fire station to fit me for my mask in front of everyone, and I'm just sitting there like wearing all this stuff, and I'm just like, man, I really hope the tones don't go off, because I'm going to be late to this fire if I gotta take time to take all this latex off.
I'll just tell the fire I'll be there in a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, hold out for me, guys. I gotta get this off.
I'll show up to the fire in my Toyota Camry.
Do what?
I wasn't there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was fun, because that really started a whole new reputation that spread pretty quickly through the department of how weird I am.
Hey man, I just want to give you props for your audition too. God, you killed it.
That was fun. I liked it.
So, and then when you came in, I was like very impressed.
When I almost broke the back of that chair.
that chair at the library has seen better days.
Yep.
So number 4 for me was when Madison was playing Talia al Ghul. Now, not specifically on camera, it was good and great, but whenever I was there when they filmed that scene, and just being in the room, and like I wasn't prepared, I guess, ahead of time. But whenever she just started, like, she had her hair, like, covering half of her face, and, like, she looked straight like Talia out of the comics. And then she went to talk, and I just had chills run down my arm, and I could feel it run from one arm all the way down to the fingertips of my other arm. It was the craziest crap I've ever had happen in a room before. I just wasn't prepared for her voice, I guess. I don't know. But she did a great job, and after years, she was one of the original cast members. So after years of trying to get Gotham Knights made, and then seeing something on screen, and then finally her getting to do the part, because her, me, and Tim were like the only 3 original people from the original cast that still had the same parts that were in the what eventually became on screen as Gotham Knights. So her finally seeing her get her moment like me and Tim had already had, it was a cool moment.
Nice. That's
Zach?
sweet.
Zach?
My turn. Oh. I don't know.
You just want us to skip over you since you didn't know it was a top 5, or you got anything else?
I got 3, 2, and 1. I'm just trying to think of 4. I guess 4. Maybe the first time I I heard Tim in the audition room do the Joker before he was part of the project at all, and we just knew that he was the Joker. It was just like, I swear, it was just like you're saying with Talia. Like I got chills from his audition, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, I went to college with Tim, so as soon as I saw him as the Joker, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. He's an insane actor.
Dude, like whenever he first came in, it was crazy because, and I just want to tell this quick story if that's okay with you, guys. When Tim came in, and Tim, he's nice and quiet when you first meet him. He's really shy, and he was like, "Hi, I'm Tim. I'm here to audition." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, man. Who you auditioning for?" I'd seen plenty of people, and we thought we had somebody pretty good for Joker. And so he goes, "I'm auditioning for the Joker," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And he goes, "Can we close the door?" And I said, "Okay," because we were at the I can't remember which library it was. I think it was the Terry Library or something. And we were like in a room that was like offset from the main library. So, I mean, you had to like go into a hall and then go down a hall. And then we weren't even in the same building as the main library. It was literally just this meeting room. So, I mean, he goes, "Can we shut the door?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." And so I just walk really slow to the door and I just close it. And I sat down and Tim did his audition. And it took me about 30 seconds to move after he was done. And then I just walked back and I opened the door back just to see if anybody was there. And then I walked back, and as I was walking back to Tim, I was like, I really want to hug this guy, but I don't want to be weird. So I kind of went for a hug, and he kind of looked at me weird. And so I was like, maybe I'll just go for a handshake. So then I threw my hand out, and I just thanked him for his audition because it reminded me so much of Mark Hamill's Joker from Batman and the Animated Series.
Mm.
But Ryan, number 4.
My number 4 is a massive blooper of mine. Whenever we were filming the Vicky Vale interview scene with Dick Grayson, my line was, I didn't want to just spend my money out every night with something and models every night.
Partying with models.
Partying with models every night. And I accidentally said hookers. We almost couldn't get through the rest of that scene in time that we had to do because we were laughing so hard because I said I didn't want to blow my trust fund money partying with hookers every night.
Jeremiah.
My number 4's got to be when we had a captain come work overtime with us, and his little grandson had come up, and I've worked with him before, and he's a good dude, but his grandson came up, and then he like recognized me and was like, "Yo," and talking about he was talking about the series, so we had like this young fan, so it was just a cool moment of, even though these guys make fun of me for being an actor, they still like the stuff. So that's my number 4.
That's awesome, dude. It's cool. I didn't know that. I'll start off number 3. And number 3 was the first time that I played Red Hood in Enter the Red Hood. The electricity that I had going through my body was just it was so hard to describe to you guys. Just being in character and being there on set. I didn't talk to anybody the entire time. Like I literally, because a lot of that, if you remember that micro short, I'm not in most of it. I'm literally at the last, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
When I come in, just beat them and stuff and go.
Right.
And so a lot of the time they're filming all their talking scenes and I'm just literally just standing in the back. And like, it's just coursing through me the entire time. And I was like having to pace and stuff because I couldn't sit still. Like, I was just like, oh my God, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. And if anybody come talk to me, I wouldn't speak to them. And I was like, I'm just ready to jack the shit out of someone. Just get away from me. It was a cool moment.
And who saved that film?
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of you, why don't you go with your number 3 and save us for that?
All right, number 3. The only Nick will know this one. And that's the infamous audition that we had. The That's Just Me Though guy. All right, so we part of the first line of auditions before Ryan or Jeremiah. We had this guy. We I wish we still had the audition because we lost it, but so this guy came in the audition for Nightwing, and he was
No. He wasn't auditioning for Nightwing. He was auditioning for Tim Drake.
Oh, whatever. They're all the same to me. He was auditioning for some asshole, and and so he's like, I can't even describe it. I don't even remember but most of it, but I just remember the line, "That's just me, dough." And so he's reading the paper. He's like pausing and like he's just really bad, and this line he's like that's just me, dough. And then he looked so excited that he got that right. And
he said dough, not though.
Yeah.
It was like if William Hung came and auditioned for Tim Drake. That's what it was like.
And so me and Nick, we have this like inside joke that we do sometimes, and like when we say something about what we think or whatever, we just sometimes reply with, "That's just me, though."
That's just me, though.
I actually, we've actually come up with I came up with a show that I made based off of this dude, but he ends up becoming like a big time actor. You know how William Hung got like it's such a huge following from American Idol? Well, think of it that way, but acting wise for this guy. And so it's just an acting show based on this guy, and it's called That's Just Me Though.
That's just me, though.
Ryan, number 3.
Absolutely love her to death, and not making fun of her in any way, but Ashley McCann's audition. During her audition, she did a scene from the script, and then she also did
a monologue
of I am the Velociraptor, and I don't know, I can't remember what she said it was from or anything like that, but she started out the audition monologue by retracting her arms back and letting out a screech and doing a monologue of a velociraptor.
Not gonna lie, we called her for Raptor Girl for a long ass time.
The thing is I was trying so hard not to crack a smile or laugh or anything, and I finally let out a snort, and it set the other 3 people off in laughter, and I felt so bad because I was like, this girl is putting her heart into this audition, and I just started a laugh chain.
It was so good. It was so good, though. She did a great job. It was fantastic. It was
so good. It was just not expected.
We're not the group of guys to do that in front of.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's fantastic.
You can't do that in front of me, Ryan, and Dustin, and get away with it. I'm sorry.
That's just me, though.
That's just me. Man, my number 3, I can't remember which one it was. I know Ryan was there. It was that super hot shoot that we did in downtown Benton.
In the alleyway.
Yeah, in the alleyway. And
you mean the one? Wasn't I there too?
I think you might have been.
I think it was my scene. Wasn't
Maybe
it?
So.
Or was it? No. There was the daytime one with Ryan.
It was the one. Yeah, it was the daytime one where Ryan was wearing the earpiece the whole time and just dying in that hoodie. But I love the moment when we were out there and they were like, man, the sound is just getting killed with this AC unit. And then everyone looks over and I had just ripped out like the core of this unit to shut it off.
He
And I was
just
like,
comes
I'll put that back when we leave.
He comes around the corner with a big ass fuse. Hey guys, take care of the AC problem. It's like, did this dude just like rip a capacitor out of the AC unit?
That's what we call guerrilla filmmaking.
Where were you when we did that the first time? Jeez.
Oh.
Wow, that was great. All right, so number 2 for me will be the hideout scene. And I'm talking about the whole thing because it was a great moment for me because I got to see Black Mask. No, not because you're just here, me saying this, but I got to see Black Mask on film for the first time. You got to see Penguin on film for the first time. You got to see Harley, and most importantly to me, no offense, it was Joker. You know.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, none taken.
I had a blast filming with Michael. Me and him played really fun together.
The entire scene was amazing. Your guys' banter was good. Harley's and Joker's banter was good. And what's really crazy is that Tim, in the editing process, wanted to take out half of that fucking scene of just half of his shit because he thought they didn't fit. They fell flat and shit. I was like, dude, literally, you're the money.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And so it was just such a crazy moment, and it was freezing as fuck. My wife was like 8 months pregnant, so that was tons of fun.
And we saw so many dicks.
So many dicks. And then there was Ryan. So, of course. Zach, number 2?
My number 2 is when we were at Walgreens and I told you to start getting people and let's do Gotham Knights, because without that moment, I don't think it would have happened the way it happened. So
That's true. Probably never would have happened. Ryan?
Mine was the day at the Comic-Con after we had done a panel for everybody and everything. And at the time I was still quite chubby, and I presented the idea to Tim about auditioning for Dick Grayson, and the look he gave me, and he looked me up and down, and as soon as he said that, I go, "Don't worry, I plan on losing the weight."
He did say that.
I would have said, "Damn, you're fat."
That's what you would have said.
But then you did lose the weight, man.
That was kind of that's kind of what Tim said with his eyes.
And to me,
But
he whispered.
He's too nice.
To me, he whispered, "I know he's your friend, but we got to really see if he auditions because we already had that one thing with that one person, and I'm not going to say it just in case they listen to the podcast." And he's like, "So we can't make any mistakes in the casting process this time." And I said, "No problem, man. But he'll do whatever I tell him to do." Literally. If I told him to kill someone, he probably would. And he said, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And that was it.
Let's see, number 2, is that where we're at?
Yes, sir.
Man, it's back at the villain hideout scene. And it was when Tim didn't know that we were running the scene full speed where I throw him into the wall. And he completely came out of character because he thought I was going to punch him in the face. And it like shut down the whole take. And it was a good take. And we're like, damn it, we got to reset this.
He just thought you really went full Black Mask on him. He was scared.
Yeah, because I just grab him by the collar, scream, "You son of a bitch," and slam him into the wall. And then I looked on his face and I said, he didn't know that I was doing this right now. And so I just kind of had to like let go and be like, "I'm so sorry."
Nice. All right, so I will start off the number 1s. And number 1 for me, I hope this has a touching moment for Ryan. But number 1 for me was the Red Hood versus Nightwing fight. That's in the part 2. And more just the scene was just awesome. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. The fight scene's amazing. And just, plus it was cool because I got to kick Ryan's ass. But it was also just fun filming it, even though it was hot as balls for me because I was in leather. And we were filming it in the Frito-Lay warehouse. So I was like dying, literally dying at one point. And like they were so concerned that I was literally gonna die. That's all they were like. Every time we weren't filming something, they're like, "Do you need do you need to take all this stuff off?" I'm like, "I'm just fine. Leave me the fuck alone." Like
Yeah.
it'll be okay. It'll be all right. And it was just really cool moment. There was two little things that stuck out. One, the if you've seen it, where we go underneath the shelving things and we're like fighting through the little like hallway thing, through that little area. How we got that was there's rollers like close to that. We weren't where there was rollers, but where Tim was filming was, and they had Tim on a pallet, and then he had the camera on it, was holding the camera, and they just pushed him down the rollers, and that's how we got that smooth shot.
Yeah,
that was a cool moment. And then the second time that we went underneath the things, later on in the fight. What happened when we were filming, everybody thought I died because they thought I passed out from heat exhaustion when me and Ryan were doing a spot. But what had happened was it was a 3 combo thing, and I was supposed to go blah, blah, blah to Ryan. Well, on the third one, instead of going back, because, I mean, it's a choreographed fight, instead of going back, for some reason, Ryan went forward and smacked into my helmet. The mesh on my eyes cut my head open, and it knocked me out. And
I had the fuck out of that dude.
He did, like, for legit. It wasn't as bad. I mean, if he had just headbutted with me, it'd have been fine. But the mesh cut my head open. I had, for 3 weeks, had a fucking deep gash in my head, and had to explain to people that thought I got my ass whooped. And I'm like, no, we were filming a scene, and so I had to explain to everybody what had happened. But that whole thing, and then it turned out to be one of my favorite things. And Zach did an amazing job editing that. I guess I will pat you on the back for that, Zach, because you did a fantastic job. I love that scene.
Thanks, man. But I'm gonna when Ryan was a guest on your show and when you first started the Good Stuff podcast, he only thanked the guy who did music.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Do you want me to like rub your balls for that, or like?
Oh, I'm talking about Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Like,
because he's a bitch, and he didn't thank the guy who edited it. He only thanked the guy for music.
Oh, we already thanked Jeremy for the music. So, what was your number one, Zach?
I don't know. My number one is probably just the one. When we stayed up all night and did that teaser.
That was a cool moment. Because we didn't know how it was going to be received, and it was received very well. So, Ryan, number one?
My number one moment from Gotham Knights was
was when you died?
He's getting
good stuff
thinking about it.
was whenever we were filming the Talia Deathstroke scene, and I completely fell asleep in the room that we were filming in, and next thing I know, I have things being thrown at me telling me to wake up because my snoring is ruining the shot.
I forgot that happened.
And I was literally sprawled out on 3 office chairs that had handles, and I had my hips in the handles of the middle chair. And so whenever I jumped up, I took a chair with me.
Nice. Jeremiah, close it out.
Quick honorable mention story was not involving Gotham Knights, but we did a huge training exercise in the villain hideout not too recently with the department about we pumped it full of smoke and learned how to drag people out of multi-story buildings and stuff. And it was wonderful having been there to film that, to then tell my team what graffiti is going to be what checkpoint. And so we're dragging this human-weighted dummy screaming, "We're coming up on, I wanted salmon! I said it 4 times!" and that was our exit point. So that was fun. But my number one Gotham Knights memory was I'm exaggerating, but what felt like a 19-hour day filming the 2-minute trash clip. Because That was something special to show up for one moment where I get dropped, clotheslined on the ground, and then for reasons I won't say, end up there for like 9 hours.
He's really not exaggerating too much there. So don't let it make it feel like he is, because he's not. I don't want him to take away from that. But that was the time that me and Jeremiah actually met in person.
Yeah. And I think I had Tim really worried because he was worried about the fact that I was just going to sweep my own legs and just fall to the ground. But I was like, I'm good. I'll take it.
Oh, good stuff. Good times. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed that. And I guess goodbye, Gotham Knights for now. So let's get right into the show. And notable releases is how we normally start off. And the only notable release I saw for this week was Sea of Solitude, which comes out July 5th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. I'm not for sure if anybody else saw this. Ryan, did you happen to see any little bit about this game?
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting.
What?
It looks.
Are we having a stroke?
It's kind of a different take on like a dark world of after the world has been submerged underwater and stuff. But it's kind of dark and edgy in the sense it's kind of like everything's filmed in like a shadowy camera view. It looks like it's got an interesting storyline, and it's probably worth a one-time playthrough, but I don't think I could see myself playing it multiple times.
Jeremiah?
I think, I mean, I saw a little bit about it. It looks awesome. To sum up what we just heard, I agree with Ryan that the art style looks dark and interesting. But no, it looks it looks like it reminds me of that game Journey. Is it from this? I don't know if it's from the same people or not. But
I didn't even see where these people had made another game.
Okay.
To be honest with you,
but that's kind of what it looks like. It's going to be a type of game that Journey was. Just a really great visual experience with creepy undertones.
Yeah. To me, it reminded me of it's story based, obviously, so we can tell that. Which I'm really a sucker for little stories like that, indie games like Firewatch and Gone Home and stuff like that. And it reminded me a lot of a Firewatch type thing, and that vein of existence. So I got really excited about it because I hadn't seen anything to it till I saw that it was coming out on July 5th. So then I looked it up into it, and it got me really super excited about the game. I guess it had flew under my radar and was too busy about no other big releases to notice it, but I'm excited about it, and I'm sure it's going to be cheap too. So
yeah, like especially on PC, it'll probably be one of those 15, maybe 20.
Yeah. Zach, do you see anything about it?
Nope, but it sounds awesome.
Did Ryan really sell you on it?
Yep.
Pretty much. Imagine the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker game, but filmed through a perspective of the bad guys from Kingdom Hearts.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yep.
I'm very excited now.
All right, guys. Well, that was all for notable releases for as far as this week goes. Let's talk trailers, guys. It's trailer time, and we're starting. We got 2 trailers here to talk about on this episode, and the first one is Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels reboot. Jeremiah, would you start us off on this?
Well, I hadn't seen much on it, but I saw some screenshots with Kristen Stewart, so it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting for her to would you drop the gun? And so I'm not interested in it, but because that's how she acts.
Was that you, Jeremiah? That did that?
Yeah, that was me.
I thought that was just Ryan talking.
I thought it was that did sound like Ryan, so it was kind of weird.
I was impersonating how she acts.
Yeah, so I guess Kristen Stewart is actually Ryan. Or Kristen Stewart is actually Ryan having a stroke.
He's on mute for some reason. Ryan, just to let you know you're on mute, but you're last on this anyway. So I watched the trailer this morning. God, that's a few minutes I'm not going to get back in my life, and I'm really upset about it. I was like, nah, man, nah. Because the last time when I said that it was being a thing, Taylor said something on the good stuff on the podcast page and was like, hey, man, give it a chance because, you know, you got a daughter and blah, blah, blah. She needs to have good, strong female figures to look up to. And I was like, you're right. I won't be just like that because it's Kristen Stewart. So I'm going to give it a chance. You know what, Taylor? I can't get those 3 minutes back, man. Okay?
Taylor owes you 3 minutes.
You owe me 3 minutes. I think that my daughter needs better people to look up to besides Kristen Stewart. Okay? Patrick Stewart's in it, though. That's pretty cool. That was the one shining moment of the trailers whenever I saw Patrick Stewart. He was like,
is he related to Kristen Stewart?
No.
Is he playing, I can't remember, the main guy, the sugar daddy? Yeah.
Bosley's actually being played by, that girl from Elizabeth Banks.
Wow.
Who's also directing the movie, apparently. Yeah, Elizabeth Banks is playing Bosley, female Bosley. So, Zach, did you watch
I won't
it?
see it.
I won't see it.
I didn't even watch it because I was so like you until Taylor told you. So I passed on that.
You didn't have a daughter to make you force you to watch 3-minute trailer?
I don't have 20 kids, so
that's right.
I don't have a kid. I'm gonna die alone, and miserable. So
also sad, like Ryan. Ryan, did you watch the trailer?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
We can move on to the next subject.
That's fair.
All right. So I'm going to start us off on this next one, and that is the trailer for Jumanji: The Next Level. I just watched it this morning, and I literally had to text Zach after I watched it, and I was like, "Bro, this new Jumanji trailer got me rolling." That was how I was speaking as I was typing. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought I had a good laugh so much in that trailer. I don't know if anyone else saw the first Jumanji, I guess it would be the second Jumanji movie. But it was really funny. And I really like this one because The Rock is basically Danny DeVito in it. And that was the most hilarious part of it, is because something's wrong with the game, because the one dude who's like the main guy from the previous movie, he tries to, I guess, looks like he tries to rebuild the game, and it gets glitched out, and somehow Danny DeVito plays his grandpa, and he gets sucked and becomes, so everybody's different characters. Like, so Danny DeVito is The Rock, and Danny Glover is Kevin Hart. So Kevin Hart is talking like Danny Glover the entire time, and The Rock is talking like Danny DeVito. And I that's all I needed. I don't even know what else is happening in the movie. That's all that I needed to see was The Rock try to talk like Danny DeVito. It's good enough for me.
It was hilarious. Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Awesome, Zach. Appreciate your input.
I saw the one before I'm gonna say the first one, and everyone's gonna understand that I mean the first one leading to this. So I saw the first Jumanji.
Robin Williams?
No, oh my god. I saw the first one, the Tavern open, because that's where my station's at, is right down by the movie tavern, and they brought over some free passes, and it was right at the time that and then the Commuter came out, and I was like, I'll do Jumanji over the Commuter, and I enjoyed it, and the way that I felt about it is probably how I feel about after seeing this trailer. It'll be a great Super Tuesday or matinee or free pass movie, but just go get some good laughs, but make sure that they're cheap laughs, because it's not a full price movie in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy though, like that. The first one made $1 billion against Star Wars.
Yeah, it did good for the time of year that it came out. It did good.
I'm surprised how well it did, especially when Star Wars and Jumanji were competing against each other. Friggin', made a lot of money.
Ryan, did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. I was a big fan of the format that they used for the Robin Williams movie, where it was all happening in the real world, instead of this format that everything happens inside. And it's kind of a two sides of one coin kind of thing, that like first movie focused on the real world side of it, and this one focuses kind of more on the side of whenever Robin Williams was stuck in the jungle.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll go watch it, but I kind of agree with Jeremiah's opinion that I really don't want to pay full price for it.
I feel like, though, that this is going to end up spilling out into the real world because of the game glitching. So I think that if it's not during the movie, at the end of the movie, it will come into the real world, and then we'll get another, like a trilogy, basically.
It'll probably just be a trilogy,
Yeah,
it'll
and
be
then
called
third
like
one.
Lost Level or something.
Yeah, and in the entire movie, the third one will be in the real world.
I can see that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's move into the news. We just got a few news things here we're just going to go into, and then we're going to get into the mid-2019 Midway Mania stuff here. And the first bit of news is, I don't know if it's actually been confirmed yet, so that's why I have a question mark on it. But supposedly, Melissa McCarthy is going to play Ursula in a live-action Little Mermaid movie.
Boo.
Zach, let's you start this off.
I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. I don't really have much else to say about it, honestly.
Cool.
So apparently the singer Lizzo really wants the role, and there's like a lot of fans backing her and stuff for it, even though Melissa McCarthy is in talks with Disney over it. But I have an opinion about this, and it is Melissa McCarthy is an actress who has acted in many roles, proven herself as being able to be a character actor, and I feel like Lizzo is way too new on the scene to just be picked up by something that big.
I don't know who that is.
She's a singer who is
She's a big old sexy black lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sings a lot of songs about self-respect and respecting others and stuff like that.
So
Great
she's
singer,
like a new
great
age
message.
Aretha Franklin?
In a sense, yeah.
But my ass could play Ursula.
I'd probably call her more along the lines of Adele, of just love yourself and, don't let people get you down for how they say you look.
Okay. So Ron, you're on board for the Melissa McCarthy playing Ursula.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Jeremiah, you said boo whenever I said it.
Yeah, and it's nothing against Melissa McCarthy. She's a very funny actress, and I like most of her movies. And she will do good at it, but Ursula should only be played by a big sassy drag queen. Like, it should be a guy in drag playing Ursula.
That sounds good. That's a good way to look at it.
So Ryan,
That makes sense. My opinion on this is, like you said, like I've seen a lot of Melissa McCarthy movies. Doesn't everything she does is comedy? I don't know anything else that she hasn't done that's not comedy.
She's got a drama coming out soon.
Okay, so I'd have to see her in that light before I can make judgments against it. So I don't really know. But since going off of what I know, she's really more of a comedy actress, and I don't really want her to bring comedy to an Ursula role because it's not comedy. As far as look-wise, while I agree on what you just said about the drag queen thing, I feel like her look-wise would be okay, but then like when she talk and stuff, I'd be like really upset by it. So
yeah, because in the animated, Ursula's got such a low octave.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with you on that whole drag queen thing. That sounds a lot better.
Check out a movie called The Notary. It's actually a really good movie, and she plays a character. It's based off of a true story. She plays a character who was forging letters for people.
Yeah, I know what movie you're talking about.
And it's a very, very serious role, and it's very in-depth, very Law and Order-ish. But if you're looking for a serious Melissa McCarthy movie, that's a good one to check out.
Cool, check that out. Zach, you're going to start us out on this next one. And so there's rumor going around that the Black Widow villain is going to be Taskmaster. And seeing as I feel like you know more about Marvel stuff, obscure things, than the rest of us, I figure that this would be good for you to start off on. So what's your opinion on that?
yeah, I'm pretty excited. Possibly, it's only been rumored, right? Not confirmed.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
Because the Black Widow movie actually hasn't been confirmed by Marvel, even though they've already pretty much almost filmed it.
Yeah, when it was first quote unquote announced, I heard of the rumors of Taskmaster, and I mean, he's a pretty interesting villain who can mimic your abilities or like your moves and stuff, and he's a pretty hard opponent to beat, so he'd be a good villain.
And it would be hard to also mimic Black Widow's superpowers since she doesn't have any.
Well, Taskmaster would mimic her fighting moves. Yeah, so it would be like she would pretty much be fighting herself.
So
basically.
Taskmaster would be doing head scissors a lot?
His what?
Head scissors.
He'd be doing head scissors.
Yeah, of course.
Ryan, what are your thoughts? Sorry, Zach, did I cut you off?
I was gonna say also do like sexy like split stuff and stuff like that.
Oh God, I can't wait. Ryan, what's your thoughts? Man?
I'm excited to see it because if it's true, that means that Taskmaster is going to be one of the main baddies for Phase 4. And it's going to be interesting seeing his character development because, this is shot in the past. And it'll be interesting seeing him transform from the way he is in the Black Widow movie into the newer movies.
Yeah.
Just the whole transitional period.
Yeah, I think if they're gonna introduce Taskmaster, then a Black Widow movie, and they want that at the same time, it's the perfect pairing for him as a villain versus what she can do and bring to the table. Because you can't put someone with like laser beam powers up against someone who can only do martial arts for a standalone movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we'll know more about this whenever the San Diego Comic-Con is next month and Marvel officially announces their Phase 4 slate and we get a 5-year timeline of movies they're making. And then they will officially announce Black Widow coming out next year, and then we'll know the villain because that's like the next movies coming out. So sure, we'll see the villain and see who he's played by and everything. But the next bit of news we have here is Netflix has showed off the first photos from The Witcher series that they're doing. They showed off the characters of what's it, Geralt? How you say all their names?
Geralt, Ciri, and Yennefer.
Okay, so you play those games, Jeremiah?
Oh, I'm in love with them. They're some of my favorite games. The story, writing, and the books are amazing as well.
What did you think about the pictures?
I mean, if they keep that as the character design, it looks awesome. It looks like they're going towards how the characters are described in the books versus what they look like in the games, and
Right.
I'm fine with that. But the only thing is, you can make almost any photo look incredible, even if it's a picture of a turd or something. So it's gonna be interesting if that's how they look and they can keep that look in a moving picture on film, then it's gonna be pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, the photos look pretty good, and so I mean they probably a few seasons of material, because I know that they did say that the books are more of an influence, like you said. Ryan, did you see the photos? Do you played any games or read books?
It looks like it's gonna be a really good series. I'm genuinely looking forward to it. I'm definitely gonna watch it. But I never got a chance to play the Witcher games, but I've seen other people play the Witcher games, and it seems it looks like they're playing it really really close to the looks and everything to the
Did you just fall down a hill?
Are you okay? Mark twice if you're in Milwaukee. I haven't played the games or read the books, so I can't really say too much about it. But as far as I've seen it, what I've seen and what the pictures that I've seen, Henry Cavill looks pretty good, badass. So I'm pretty excited. I will definitely be watching the Netflix show. Zach.
Yeah, I might watch it. It looks pretty cool, but I've kind of stopped watching Netflix shows just because they just keep getting canceled prematurely. So we'll see, I guess.
I can't keep up with Netflix shows. How fast they
Yeah,
pump
they
out.
just make so many, and then they hardly any Netflix shows make it past season 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I haven't even started. I got halfway through of Stranger Things 2. I don't know. I feel like they're probably gonna cancel it after season 3. So I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. Probably. Who knows though? Because as far as Netflix, some of the Netflix original shows like Orange Is the New Black, they kept how many seasons? I think 6, 7.
That's because that's one of the OG shows. Orange is the New Black and that one political one.
The House of Cards.
Yeah, that lasted a little
They canceled
while.
that too.
That would have kept going though had certain events not taken place.
Yeah, Spacey.
Yeah.
You
All right,
fucking
guys.
pervert.
The last bit of news here is Remedy Games just got the publishing rights back to Alan Wake.
Yes.
Who played the original Alan Wake?
Me. And I read the book.
And you read the book?
Yes.
Sweet. I played some of it, but I haven't played all of it. But it's exciting news because they got the publishing rights back from Microsoft, which have been in limbo. Basically, Microsoft's just been holding them for nothing, and because they didn't deem the first one a good enough commercial success, I guess, to make a sequel. But now that Remedy got the publishing rights back, they can start working on a sequel. So that's cool. So I guess I'm gonna eventually have to play it.
I'm so excited because it ended needing a sequel, and I've been craving
it
how
ended
it's
with
gonna...
a massive cliffhanger too.
Yeah.
Are they making a sequel or is it just a reboot?
Is it a sequel?
Well, they haven't really announced any of that. They just announced that they got the rights back.
Yeah, they just announced it yesterday that they got the rights back. So if they said that they did make another game, it's gonna be a while because they just got the rights back to even start working on a game. So
They
And I don't care. I mean, I've waited so long while the rights were in limbo. Don't get excited and get your rights back and pump out something that, because it's such a cult following. Take your time. We've already waited this long and make it good. Because I'm so excited.
yeah.
Zach, did you play the game?
Has been forever.
I've never played any of the games, and I don't really know even what it's about. So
It seems like it would be right up your alley, though.
Yeah, quick throwdown. A horror novelist, goes with his wife to a cabin in a small town to break through his writer's block. It's a cabin on a lake, and it turns out the lake is cursed by just darkness. And then Alan Wake blacks out, wakes up, his wife is missing, and he starts finding pages of a manuscript that he wrote that he doesn't remember writing. And as you play through the game and find more manuscript pages, they're all predictions of things that are about to happen. And so it's like you have to put this book together while you're fighting through your own book in order to solve the mystery before the mystery actually kills you. So I mean, it's genius.
all sounds cool to me. Then.
Ryan, do you have anything to add to
No, not really. Everything's been said.
that? Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's all the news that we have for you today. We're recording earlier this week because 4th of July is when this episode comes out. So we're doing this 2019 Midway special here. We're midway through 2019 now, so we're looking back and then also looking forward at the same time. So what you're going to get now is you're going to get a retrospective look back at the past 6 months of 2019 in the form of top 5 list, and then we're going to do a couple for the future 2019. So we're going to kick it off with the top 5 video games that we played in the first half of 2019. Zach, I'm going to let you kick off the list this round.
Do you want to? Sorry to interrupt. Do you want to go round table for all 5, or everyone just list off since we have like 5 lists to do?
Let's just do everybody just do your top 5 just down and talk a little bit about each one of them if you want, and we can add on to if we need to.
All right.
Like
All right,
say Zach
Go
says
on
the
my
top
list
5.
right now.
Hold on just a minute. So say Zach says something and like his number 5 is something that's not on your list, and you want to just add to whatever Zach says about it, you can feel free to add whenever before he says his number 4 or whatever.
Cool.
Zach, just to say, has anybody got anything else to add for that? But if it has, like, say he says a number 5 and that's your number 2, just wait till you say your number 2, and then you can add whatever Zach didn't say.
Awesome.
Does that sound good?
Yep, that sounds great.
Sounds
Okay.
good. All right. So, I mean, there weren't that many games in 2019, the first half that I really cared about. So, to be honest, so my number 5, which I haven't even played it yet, is Far Cry New Dawn. So, I mean, I really like the other Far Cry games, and I was excited for that one because it was like post-apocalyptic, so it kind of reminded me of like Fallout meets Far Cry or something like that. But yeah, that's my number 5. And then my number 4 was, and I still haven't even played it, is Resident Evil 2, the remake, which Resident Evil 2. Well, Resident Evil is one of my favorite franchises in video games, and Resident Evil 2 is my second favorite game of the franchise, so I was pretty excited to play the remake of that, but I'm also poor, so can't afford a whole bunch of games. And number 3, which I have played, and it kind of got mixed reviews, Days Gone, which is, I'm obsessed with zombies, and I mean, I think some of the reviews that I got weren't really warranted. I mean, I think it's a pretty new developer too. Like, I don't really think they've done a whole bunch of other stuff. So, I mean,
I've been seeing so many videos on Facebook about people doing playthroughs of Days Gone and all the just finding new things and new ways to kill people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and like the world is huge. Like the map, like if you open the map, it's just gigantic. So, and the only issue, like, is kind of an issue which I know Nick has had problems with, was the driving of the motorcycle. It'd be cool if they kind of cleaned that up a little bit if they could, but other than that, I think it's a pretty solid game.
Yeah, I have really bad problems with driving in video games anyways, and it is like, even Zach had problems with it, so you can imagine mine was 100 times worse than his. So it almost made the game almost unplayable for me, because a lot of the part has to do with driving the motorcycle, and that's a huge part of the game, and so it almost makes it impossible for me. So if they got that cleaned up a little bit, it would be a lot better, driving mechanic-wise.
Yes, and number 2, which I still haven't played yet, but I can because Nick owns it and we share games, but I guess Kingdom Hearts 3, which still haven't played. I heard it's pretty good. I'll probably get around to it eventually.
So
I was trying...
You've played one game on your top 5 list.
Hold on, it's not. He's got number 1.
It's games of 2019. I can't like go to like 2018 and be like, oh, I played Detroit Become Human or something. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Kingdom Hearts 3. The reason I haven't played that yet is because I was trying to beat all the prequels and the side stuff with the collection, but something happened where my PlayStation Network account got hacked somehow. I don't know how, and I had just bought the collection, and then I bought Resident Evil 7 or Biohazard 7, and someone hacked my account. They somehow managed to create a sub account, return my games, and buy new games, and somehow attach it to the sub accounts. I don't know how this even worked, because once you download a game, they're not supposed to be returnable. So how the hell did they return
Pull
it?
that off, yeah.
To this day, we still have not been able to figure that mystery out of how that happened.
Like, we don't know how the fuck this happened. But so luckily I got all my shit back. They refunded me my money, but then I was like, fuck that, I need the money now, and I don't want to buy games. So I just never rebought the collection or Biohazard. So that's that story. And number 1 I have played is Mortal Kombat 11, which was pretty exciting. The story mode was really good. I don't know where they're gonna go from there, because it seemed like it was just like an ending to the whole Mortal Kombat story.
That was a good birthday present you got then.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good game. I'm excited for the DLC and the possibility of like Ash from Evil Dead and stuff like that. So hopefully they add some cool DLC with that. I'll make Nick buy.
Can I add a note to your top 5 list?
Okay.
Play Kingdom Hearts 3. Next for Ryan. Ryan, why don't you hit us up with your top 5?
Okay, so for my top 5, number 5 is Division 2.
Did you play that, or is it just something you were interested in?
Everything I'm going to say is things I actually played, because I'm not a fucking poser.
How am I a poser if I'm poor? If I'm too poor to buy the game, it's not my fault.
Poser.
All right, so Division 2, it would have gotten higher, but I do not. It's on my list because I did play all of the storylines for it and everything. But and it was a really good continuation to Division 1. But the multiplayer aspect of it, which is supposed to be a critical part of the game, is not as rewarding as it should be. Both in loot and in playability. It's not as fun as the original Division was, and they tried to fix some mistakes that they had in the PvP area, but they wound up making it worse.
Cool.
My number 4 will have to be Kingdom Hearts 3. A highly expected game. It was a lot of fun to play. Of course, it's a hack and slash, so it got very, very repetitive, but that's pretty much what Kingdom Hearts and Square Enix is all about. Number 3 for me was Life is Strange 2. It was a really good storyline. It was dark. It was dismal. It was emotional. It was actually really good. It doesn't follow the same characters from Life is Strange, but it's still definitely a really, really good game. Number 3 for me is Mortal Kombat 11.
Wait, number 2?
Only played. Is that my number 2? Yeah, number 2. Number 2 is Mortal Kombat 11. It was really good. For me, it was like, then again, this is still just another fighting game, and the fighting games are so limited because they have pretty much 2 play modes, and both play modes are the same, except for one has a slight storyline to it, and one is just versus other people. My number 1 game so far released this year will definitely have to be Apex Legends. It's getting number 1 on my list for 2 reasons. It has a very, very high replayability. Whenever you get your first victory in that, just makes you want to play again. I played other battle royale games that once I got Fortnite, for instance, I won my first 3 games in a row on Fortnite and uninstalled it from my computer and haven't played it again since. But Apex Legends recording day today, there is the start of their competitive season 2, and I actually got up just a minute ago. Whenever my microphone was on mute, that's what I was doing, was making sure that the game was downloading. So whenever I get off this, I can go play it. So we need to hurry up with this podcast because I want to get into season 2.
All right, before Jeremiah tells his top list, I think it was hilarious that you almost skipped 2 after we talked about you skipping 2 on the clacker at the beginning of the show.
You'll never know if it was intentional.
I'll never know. Don't really care either way.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I'm getting hate messages from Zach on Facebook right now for League of Legends. I mean, for Apex.
Oh, whoops! That was meant just for Nick.
You'll never know if it was intentional.
It was intentional. I know.
Jeremiah, why don't you go with your 5?
My top 5 video games so far of 2019. Number 5. It has to be Observation, the one that I talked about a few weeks ago on here about the space station, and it's just more of a kind of a visual novel style game.
Game's your head.
Do what?
That game really screws with your head.
It does, and man, the writing was great, and even the voice acting was awesome, and I just loved it. Number 4 would have to be another little indie game called Outer Wilds that came out pretty recently. Super fun, great kind of visual style. It looks cartoony, but the story just gets so deep of where you're this alien race that has to go explore different planets, and that's all it starts out and tells you. And so you do that, and you just uncover this absolutely bonkers story that I fell in love with. Number 3 would have to be the one I'm playing now, The Sinking City, the H.P. Lovecraft style game. where you're a detective trying to figure out. It just starts out as a murder case, and then you start uncovering all the Cthulhu stuff, and it's super mind-bending because you lose your sanity while you play, and then I think you also lose your sanity as a player while playing it. But I'm having a blast with it.
I never played that, by the way.
Oh, it's so good. It's so fun. Number 2 would have to be... Man, I'd probably have to say Rage 2. Because I hadn't played many just shoot 'em ups this year, besides Apex, and I've been having fun getting back into it and just shooting, big enemies and big guns and big explosions, and I've been having a blast with Rage 2. Which leads to number 1, which would have to be earlier on this year, was Metro Exodus is my number 1 game so far of the year. It was what I would call a perfect game.
Awesome. I haven't checked that one out. I haven't played any of the Metro games. I think I played the first one for a little bit, and then I wasn't into it. But I heard that the new one is like way better. So.
Oh, it's incredible. It's going to be hard to top that even with coming games this year.
Awesome. All right, so I'll finish it off with my top 5 games, and it was really difficult for me because I haven't played a lot of most of the games I played this year were backlog games from previous years, because like Zach, I'm poor because I haven't worked all year long, so it's really hard to get my wife to buy me a video game. So, but I'm going to start us off with number 5, which it was actually a game that came out last year, was Marvel Spider-Man. But specifically from it, they introduced New Game Plus this year. And I just started New Game Plus on the ultimate difficulty that they just added this year. And I haven't played much of it, so that's why it's number 5. But, God, it is so freaking difficult. You get shot like one time and a fourth of your health is gone. So, or hit one time, you're a couple times you're dead. It's nuts.
Speaking of Spider-Man, they did add the new suits from Far From Home
today for free.
Today for free, and I checked them out. They look pretty cool. So
sweet. But yeah, that game is super difficult on the New Game Plus the ultimate difficulty level. Number 4 for me is Dauntless, which is like the Monster Hunter type game from the Fortnite people. I haven't played much of it. I've only played it like some with Zach. And we haven't went back to it after we've played it a couple times. But as I said, I was just trying to find games I have played this year. And so I've really enjoyed it, though. Fortnite just sucks, in my opinion. I'm sure like 2 kids that were listening to this podcast just turned it off, but I really don't care. I just don't like it. But Dauntless, it's just been a cool game, and I haven't played Monster Hunter World, but if it's like this Dauntless game, but even better because it's better graphics and more story, then I might have to check out Monster Hunter World. But number 3 for me was Mortal Kombat 11, which obviously was on 3 people's lists, so obviously it was a good game. The storyline, specifically from it, was amazing. And like Zach said, it ended on a way that it's really going to be hard to come back from that. I'm sure that if they wanted to, Ed Boon can do it. He's a good, smart guy. But I'm specifically really super excited because the DLC is going to have Spawn. And so I'm just really excited after all these years of wanting Spawn in a Mortal Kombat or Injustice game that we're finally getting Spawn. So that I'm really super excited. So unfortunately, my wife's going to get mad when I buy that DLC, but hey, it's all right. What happened? Number 2 for me, it's a game that came out last year, and that's Call of Duty Black Ops 4. But specifically, I'm talking about the Blackout portion of it, and because they've given so much updates to it, they constantly update it every week, and they've made new operations like Spectre Rising, and now we're on Days of Summer, Zach, I think is the operation that we're currently on. And they're constantly having these new operations, which totally adds new modes and different things. They've made the Alcatraz map. They've added so much to the game, and as I said, I was just trying to pick stuff that I played this year. So I felt like even though the game came out last year, that they've made enough added so much to the game that if we just looked at those improvements, that's where most of my time for this year from video games has lied. Was
we've been playing since like what, January, February, and
whenever they took me off work.
Yeah, we still haven't got bored of it, so
still play every a couple days a week at least. We just really enjoy it. The Battle Royale Call of Duty style. But number one for me, and why I told Zach that he needs to play this, number one for me was Kingdom Hearts 3. Like Ryan said, it was a hack and slash game, but I mean, that if you played Kingdom Hearts, I don't know why people were complaining about that online after the game came out, because did you not play any other Kingdom Hearts fucking games? All, like, 9 of them? I mean, pretty much they're all the same damn thing. I mean, where were you the other games? Were you not paying attention to your gameplay? How did you get through it? I don't know. But the storyline was just amazing. It was the culmination of so many years of waiting for this storyline to pay off, and so many things. And really great highlights were being able to be finally to play Pixar worlds, and you got Toy Story Land, and that was probably a big cool thing. Big Hero 6. Frozen World was actually kind of cool, even though it's Frozen. I mean, it was cool, and there's just so many of great moments in that game. I really enjoyed it, and it was possibly the best game I've played. So it was the best game I've played so far in 2019. Now we're going to move on to the top 5 movies that we've seen of 2019, and Ryan, we're going to let you do your top 5 first.
This is entertainment news. So
movies, top 5 movies.
Oh, top 5 movies.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Woo.
Let me all fill you in. He has been doing the list as we've been going on in the show, and so he thought the next one was entertainment news, and now he's stuck.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm trying to find web pages for the right thing. Okay, number 5 would be the John Wick 3. It was good. I finally caught up on all of them. It was really good, but it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. I like Keanu Reeves a lot, and I know that the movies have received a very, very positive rating by a lot of people, but for me, it was just it felt like Keanu Reeves was falling into that Steven Seagal role of just being the fight 'em up guy with no actual storyline. I mean, there really is no storyline to those movies, in my opinion, because it's all about, oh, they killed my dog.
No, is this a top 5 movies or top 5 bad movies?
Well, I mean, out of the movies I've seen this year, it's at least number 5.
Well, I just got to say, if you weren't everybody that listens to the show's least favorite host, you definitely are now.
They can suck. Number 4, Detective Pikachu. The movie was really good. It had a really good twist and turn at the end, but they fully explained it of what was going on and why it was going on, and it was really good. It was nice seeing Pokemon in a live action scenario for the first time, and I really appreciated the movie. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I think they did it really, really well. Number 3 for me is trying to remember the name of it. Into the Spider-Verse. That movie was just all around a good time.
And it came out in 2018.
Okay.
I'll give him credit. It was Christmas.
Okay, we'll give it to you.
Mister, I had 2 video games from 2018 on my list.
Yeah, but there was reasons.
Okay, I have my reasons. I didn't see it until 2019. Then number 2 for me was once again trying to remember the name of it.
We'll check on the internet where you're just looking at movie titles and pulling them out your ass.
Man, don't you guys just love how your favorite things you just can't remember the names of? I mean, that's just so crazy how that happens to everybody.
I made a whole list, but I couldn't remember the name of this movie.
Captain Marvel is my number 2. The movie was actually really good. It was really cool to see them youngify several actors to make them timeline continuity wise accurate. It was cool getting a lot of understanding in all the time gaps of storyline of like where was the Tesseract, what the hell happened to Nick Fury's eye, and stuff like that. That it was really good for what it was. I know it's gotten a lot of critical feedback and stuff, but all in all, it was a very good Marvel movie. And number 1 for me is definitely Endgame. Endgame blew my mind visually and storyline. It is the first time in years that I've cried because of a TV or movie storyline, and the last time that ever happened to me was an episode of Futurama called Fry's Dog, or Jurassic Park. Every time I see that episode, it makes me teary-eyed in the closing sequence where they roll the credits. I genuinely started to cry a little whenever Tony snapped, and it was pretty obvious that he was going to die. But whenever his arc reactor turned off,
spoilers.
When his arc reactor turned off, I definitely had multiple tears roll down my face because I knew it was the close of a massive chapter of my life. 10 years of my life just came to an end right there.
Well, cool. Jeremiah, why don't you start your top 5 list?
Yeah, I will be quick. Number 5, Always Be My Maybe, a Netflix movie that came out this year. Super surprisingly funny. Had a blast watching it. It's a rom-com and more heavy on com than rom, and I had a really fun time watching it. It was great. Number 4, also a romantic comedy, but it would have to be Isn't It Romantic? We went and saw that in theaters, and that one really surprised me because it's all meta humor, and I'm a sucker for that, no matter what. Number 3 would have to be... I'm trying to think the order that I want to put these in. I'll put John Wick number 3. I'll put John Wick as number 3 because action and John Wick, obviously. Number 2, I will put as Endgame. It was a great closing point to quite the saga to start out the year on such a big event such as Endgame. Endgame was going to be my number 1 until Ryan broke the rules, and now I get to break the rules because I didn't see this movie until 2 days ago. It came out last year in 2018, and my number 1 movie that I've seen so far this year is the Sam Elliott film of The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. It is an absolute freaking masterpiece of a movie.
Awesome.
And yeah.
It's on Hulu, right? You said
it is on Hulu. Yes. It is 9 kinds of everything that you want to see in a film with a title such as that.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to start my top 5. My number 5 was Citizen Kane, even though it came out in the 50s. I just saw it this year. So, I mean, I can't believe it. It blew my mind.
What, number 4 is The Heat? And, hey, I just saw Heat.
Sorry. Number 5 for me was actually Detective Pikachu. To be honest, I haven't seen the full movie yet. I've only seen like 30 minutes of it, because kids. And but anyways, just to be able to see, the Pokemon, that's what that was our childhood. I believe all 4 of us were pretty much, loved Pokemon, and so just to be able to see that in a live action type version, it was completely, to see those Pokemon is just completely crazy, and so I'm gonna have to finish up the movie, but just seeing that made it into my top 5 list.
Kids, will you calm down? I'm trying to watch Pokemon.
Well, I've watched some of it, and I was watching it with them. Then I had to make them go watch it in their room because they're too loud, and I have to watch the movie and, to understand the story. So,
Stop being excited. Go to your room.
Hey, man, I had to watch Homecoming a second time after seeing it in theaters because I didn't even remember like half the freaking movie. So, which is really cool that today is, July 4th, if you're listening to the day that this comes out, and we're at the theater watching Far From Home with all the kids.
And
Sucker for Punishment.
the day we record this, I am watching it later today. So
Number 4 for me was Captain Marvel. It was a great movie. To see a female-led, focused Marvel movie was amazing. And I understand it's got some hate from it, but really don't hate. If you dig deep enough, a lot of that hate, now I'm not saying all of it, but a lot of it will stem from people who are misogynistic and don't think that women should do anything, and or they don't agree with Brie Larson's comments or politics or whatever like that. And I feel if you just take all that aside, then give me some credit criticize the film some, then I would listen to you. But most of the time, all you see on the internet is those people talking passionate because of those reasons, which is dumb. But as reasons of Ryan said, it was cool seeing the de-aging thing. That's what you said, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Because that's what I took from the whole movie.
Asian.
Yeah, totally. Number 3 for me was Dragon Ball Super Broly. Huge fan of the Dragon Ball series. Dragon Ball Super was an amazing series. Is an amazing series because they're still doing the dub version. And Dragon Ball Super Broly, we made fun of Dragon Ball Z jokes a lot about how it would take 3-5 episodes for Goku to power up and punch someone. But there was literally like a 35-minute fight between him and Broly in the movie, and it was an amazing. Like, I didn't even realize how much. I'm pretty sure I'm exaggerating some, but I'm not exaggerating too much. It was such a long fight sequence, and I didn't even realize how much time had went by during that fight at the end of Dragon Ball Super Broly. It was an amazing movie.
It's always good when you are surprised by how fast something so long goes by because it's that action-packed.
Yeah. And it was good. It was good. Storyline was good, and I'm excited to see what they do next. Number 2 for me was Shazam, and it was an amazing movie. It was good. It's good family friendly film, which is always good for me because I have 20 million kids. But it was just a good film, and I really felt like DC needed a win, and I feel like they really got it with this movie. And Zachary Levi did a great job playing Billy Batson as Shazam. And so it was really cool. Excited to see them make another movie and see what happens, and really hope to see Black Adam in the future from this movie. And then number 1 for me was Endgame, and I really think we did a whole special on Endgame. I've really talked enough about Endgame throughout the year that you can go listen on previous episodes about. But it's an amazing movie, and I didn't cry, but I would have cried if it wasn't for this ginormous muscle guy next to me, who looked like the size of, I don't know, The Rock, but next to me, bawling his eyes out when Iron Man died. If it wasn't for him crying, I probably would have cried, but he really threw me off because I was like, it's too much, because he was bawling. And like his girlfriend was looking at him all cross-eyed, and then so I was looking at him cross-eyed. I mean, I didn't know he was literally tears, like bawling like one of my children. But,
It's alright. At least you cried during My Dog Skip. That's all that matters.
and I also cried
cried
during Toy Story 3 the other day.
Remember, My Dog Skip got a movie before Gears of War.
That's not a good one. But go ahead and give us your top 5 movies.
Alright, Ryan, give us your top 5 movies.
I already did mine.
Well, I'm sure you could pick up another list. You'd probably have that internet page pulled up.
Hey guys,
I don't
welcome to the
remember,
Good Stuff
even though I made
Podcast,
my list.
episode 28.
Okay, anyway, my top 5 is, my 5 is Captain Marvel. I thought it was a pretty good film, and it was interesting to see the young Nick Fury, and then I love to have Coulson back. It's too bad we're probably never going to get him in another MCU movie, but that's just me, though. And number 4 is John Wick, so fuck you, Ryan. I love the John Wick films. Like, I'm not huge on like action movies or anything, but I love Keanu Reeves. Like, I don't know, he's one of my favorite actors, and he's just a awesome person in person, not just acting. But yeah, I mean, I guess they don't have like much of a story, I guess. I mean, there is a story that's there, but I just really like the fight scenes. Like, they don't like do a shit ton of like cuts and stuff, and like when they do a fight scene, like it's really like a lot, like it's all there in the scene.
Yeah.
Like, there's not like 50 cuts. Like, I remember watching this one you know, the Honest trailers that
yeah.
they do. I was watching this one with Liam Neeson, and and he was like running and hopping over a fence, and there was like I think 20 cuts of him just hopping over the fence. And so yeah, I just thought that was funny. But yeah, I mean, I just love the way these films are done.
The world is so interesting.
Yeah, right. Like, the world is interesting. Like, and the like just all
Yes!
what the
Oh, by the way, he's watching the soccer game in case anybody wanted to know.
USA just scored.
I thought someone was getting murdered, to be honest. I thought someone broke into your house. I was like struggling.
I thought someone killed your dog and you were about to go John Wick on him.
I thought
I didn't
someone
have
was
time to mute it.
strangling
It happened
someone.
so fast. I couldn't mute it.
Number 3, Zach.
Anyway, something about the world being interesting.
Number 3.
Anyway, number 3. Yes, that world is interesting. 3, Detective Pikachu. Always wanted to see like a live action Pokemon film. I think the last one we really got was like a fan made film, which was actually turned out pretty well. But it was cool to actually see like an actual live action Pokemon film from Nintendo and Game Freak or whoever made it. And then number 2 is Aladdin. Aladdin has always been my favorite Disney film, and I think that was actually my first film I actually ever seen in theaters too. So it was really cool to go back to my childhood watching that film. I love the songs. Will Smith, I think, did a really good job as the genie. The new song, I think they only added one new song. It was kind of random, but it's kind of like a Frozen moment, like a Let It Go moment. But when Jasmine sang it, But I mean, the song was good. It was just kind of random. And then Avengers Endgame, of course, is my number one. We've been waiting 10 years for that film, and finally got it. And yes, I cried a little bit when Stark died. Spoiler alert.
Thank God you threw that spoiler alert out there.
After the spoiler, but you tried.
Yeah, well, remember when you were that one episode we were doing when you were saying, "Just so you know, we're doing spoilers," and I just yelled, "Tony Stark died." Anyway, yeah, Avengers. That's my top 5, I guess.
Awesome. So we're going to move right into the top news, entertainment nerd news for the past 6 months. And Jeremiah, why don't you start us off with that top 5?
I don't really have a top 5. It's more or less because I was not here January 1st. As far as the entertainment news goes, but I'll throw out as many as I can to try to get there. First one would have to be going in order of least to best. The first one that I have would probably have to be just the entirety of going through this up to this point of every single video game movie that has been coming out that we've gotten to rag on Nick about, that it's not Gears of War. But it's been a great year of entertainment news to try to see them really breaking further into trying to get a good video game movie, and I really hope that they succeed with the ones that are coming out this year.
Awesome.
Next one, it's really just a culmination because it's just those 2 moments of all the video game movies and then everything involving E3 that we predicted, and like 95% of it coming true. I think that's awesome.
Zach, what did happen today on the internet that I said, holy crap, we did it again, or something? I can't remember what it was. Oh, you weren't here last week. We talked about the PS Plus games and how crappy they were, and they needed something different. That was the worst. That next month's PS Plus games were the worst offerings that we've ever seen. And they took out the soccer one, and they're making it Detroit become human or whatever it is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we complained about it last week, and now they're changing it.
Yeah, so Sony listens to the Good Stuff podcast, just so you know. So why aren't you guys listening to it? So if these guys listen, you should too.
Lots of E3 stuff that predicted. We said something about the Sonic movie, and then it got changed.
Yeah. I mean, it was so much that happened that I have to just bundle it all into that one statement about it for my short time that I've been with y'all on this.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go to my top, if that's cool. Then, and I've been here from day one, so I've been here for every episode. So top 5 for me was number 5 was when Pokemon Sword and Shield got announced. Mainly because it was an awesome moment knowing that we were getting console Pokemon game, and it really made me regret selling my Nintendo Switch. I'm pretty certain that probably Zach regrets it, and made the other 2 people salivate wanting a Nintendo Switch. So we'll see how many of us have Nintendo Switches a couple months after those games come out. Number 4, James Gunn returning to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and how many times that we were posting stuff about before it happened to me and Zach were, and then messaging whenever it did happen. We were super excited, and to be able to send Zach a message saying that he had got back on Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I felt like I was really, making Zach's year there. So when number 3 for me was the announcement of Disney Plus, because it's such a good deal, and I don't remember when that comes out, but I'm super excited.
December, I believe. October, December.
I'm really excited about all the Marvel shows that we're getting from it, and the Star Wars shows that we're going to be getting. So super excited to see those universes expand in different ways, and in shows that actually matter and are actually like the Marvel ones are actually connected to the MCU, so they can tell stories in different way without having to make a movie based off of it. They can tell long-term storytelling, which is sometimes good. Number 2 for me was when the CW announced that they announced a whole year ahead of time. Every year, I don't know if no one else watches the Arrowverse shows, but every year they do a crossover between all the shows. And this year they did the Elseworlds crossover, and at the end of it, they announced next year's will be this year's crossover, and it's Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is a huge comic book moment. That's the Crisis on Infinite Earths basically brought the entire DC multiverse and brought them all together under one Earth. And so to see what will happen, and if they're going to connect other shows like Smallville, if that will be connected to the CW shows now, and like that, if we're going to see Tom Welling as Superman, that would be really freaking cool. That's really what I hope for in the Crisis on Infinite Earths. And also to go with that, Arrow's going to be ending at the end of this next season, and they're only doing 10 episodes. So that's kind of a big deal because it's kind of like made the Arrowverse, and they have all these spin-off shows because of Arrow. And to see that ending at the same time as Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's such a big moment. But I think the biggest news, entertainment news of all, and was a huge deal for all of us here on the show, would be Disney closing the Fox deal, because to me that's really going to, I think it got announced last year, but it closed this year, and so what that means is that we're going to get X-Men characters and Fantastic Four characters are now back home at Marvel, and so pretty much everybody is pretty much 99% of Marvel characters are now owned by Marvel, and we can see all these different people in the MCU and see everything can be connected now. And so, especially seeing X-Men and Fantastic Four, God, they need an MCU treatment so bad. Poor Fantastic Four. Zach?
Yeah, my top 5. So my number 5 is Chris Rock with the Saw spinoff. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I mean, I even had a dream about it. I don't remember what happened in the dream. I just remember I dreamed about it. So I wish I could remember that dream to tell you guys about it, but I don't remember it, so I'm not going to tell you guys about it. Anyway. Number 4 is Knights of the Old Republic trilogy. I'm really looking forward to that. Because, I mean, I think I only played the second one, but...
Oh, you didn't play the first one?
No.
Dude.
But I loved Knights of the Old Republic game, so... and, like, that time period in the Star Wars franchise is probably my favorite time period, the Old Republic, and they have a lot of stuff, I think, they could pull from, because it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of annoying to me, like, pretty much every Star Wars thing, it always takes place around the New Hope era, or somewhere around there, and I just want them to branch out a little bit more. And then my number 3 is, of course, yes, James Gunn returning to Guardians of the Galaxy. Apparently they never really actually fired him, but yeah, James Gunn's probably one of my favorite directors. Been following him for a while, like since even his horror comedy Slither, and he wrote the remake of Dawn of the Dead, which is one of my favorite zombie movies. So I'm pretty excited to have him back. And then number 2, Disney Plus. Yes, I'm excited for that. It's such a good deal. It's like, what, $60 for a year or something like that? Like, that's a steal.
Price, yeah.
Like, that's a steal. Like, you get all of Disney's films and anything that comes out in the future just on there. Like, it'd be even better if they, like, added Marvel Unlimited to it, like the DC does with their thing. But with $60, yeah, that's a pretty good deal in my book. And then number 1, of course, would probably have to be the Fox buyout from Disney, where we're gonna eventually get all the X-Men and Fantastic Four, Galactus and all them into the MCU. Probably not this phase, I doubt it, but hopefully at least phase 5 or the end of phase 4, which will hopefully at least hint at them coming to the MCU.
Cool. Ryan?
My list is the Fox merger buyout with Disney. I am super excited to see the X-Men characters in the MCU. I could care less about the Fantastic Four. Number 4 for me was the announcement of Mysterio as the bad guy for the new Spider-Man movie. Mysterio is an amazing character in himself, and I think it was about damn time that he finally got brought onto the screen. Number 3 for me was the announcement of the Phase 4 and everything that they plan on bringing with it. Number 2 for me was the announcement at E3 for Cyberpunk 2077 with the introduction of Keanu Reeves in a video game for the first time in a long, long time.
Are you trying to win back listeners with that one, or?
I said that I thought that Keanu Reeves was an amazing actor. I just don't really appreciate John Wick films.
I'm pretty sure you referred to him as Steven Seagal.
I said I don't want to see him become the next Steven Seagal, where he's just outputting movies with fight scenes with no plot lines.
All right, Meg, number 1.
And my number 1 entertainment announcement of the year so far was the announcement of the Disney Plus service. Everything has been said about that and ran into the ground in everybody else's top 5. So I'm just going to say Disney Plus.
Cool. All right, guys. So now we're going to be looking ahead, and we got 2 more top 5 lists we're going to go with. And we're looking ahead to what's coming up in 2009, the rest of the 2019, and we're going to go through these pretty quickly. And who's next on the thing?
Me.
The news-wise, who didn't? Oh, yeah, you are next. So we're going to go with the top 5 films in the second half that we're looking forward to. Zach?
All right, so my number 5 is probably Dr. Sleep. It seems interesting. If you don't know, it's the sequel to The Shining. And I'm just pretty interested to see that. It's based off the novel because Stephen King actually wrote the sequel, Dr. Sleep novel. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see that. And then number 4, Zombieland 2, Double Tap. Pretty excited to see that. I was originally disappointed when the show got canceled, even though it wasn't the original actors, because the pilot I watched for it was actually pretty cool, but I'm glad to bring it back into a movie with the original cast. 3, which actually comes out today, but I'm just going to say it anyway, is Midsummer, which it's by the same director who did one of my favorite horror films in recent years, which was Hereditary. So I'm pretty excited for Midsummer. See what he does with that. And number 2, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I mean, I grew up on those books. They were supposed to be children's books. I don't know how they're children's books because they're so fucking scary. But to me, I mean, like they were so creepy. I don't know how they were marketed as children's books. And I know there was controversy back then about them, but I mean, I just don't know how.
It's Guillermo, right? Is he the one doing this?
Yes, he's directing it. Um, so I'm pretty excited to watch that. It just looks like, yeah, the stories are coming to life from the book they found. So looks pretty interesting to me. And then number one, The Lion King is probably my number one, which I'm pretty excited about. Um, reliving my childhood like I did with Aladdin. I just the only thing is I watched the trailer and now I hear Darth Vader every time. So first I hear Darth Vader every time Mufasa speaks, and then I hear every time adult Simba talks, I hear Lando from Solo. like wow. I'm like, is that Lando? When I
So
was
excited
watching
to go see Lion Wars.
yeah. So yeah, but yeah, that's one of my that's probably my second favorite after Aladdin for original Disney animated movies. So I'm excited to see that. That's my top five.
Ryan. And by the way, I think we skipped me. I think I was supposed to go first, but go ahead, Ryan.
Oh,
Um, number five is Spies in Disguise. It's based off of the story Pigeon Impossible. It looks really good. It's an animated film. It seems to have the same kind of cartoonish stylings as what was that superhero 3D rendered movie? The Incredibles.
The Incredibles?
Yeah, it seems to have the same animation stylings as that, but it looks really good from the previews that I've seen. Number four for me will be The Rise of Skywalker. I'm of course, curious to see the end of this will be the ninth film in that series, straight in that series, and I'm really interested to see how they decide to close it all out. My number three will be Terminator Dark Fate. The movie just looks amazing, and it's a story that I've been waiting to see for a long time. I have a tie for my number two, and that's the new Joker film and Zombieland Double Tap. I'm equally interested in seeing both of them, and I feel like Zombieland deserves a honorable mention in this. And my number one movie that I am really, really, really waiting to see is Ad Astra. The movie trailer, it looks amazing. It looks like it's got a lot of hidden storyline that they're just not going to reveal just yet, but it'll be Brad Pitt's first big movie in a long time, and I've been curious to see him outside of the role of always just playing the heartthrob character. It's a very serious role for him, and after that last sci-fi space movie with Sandra Bullock, anything is going to be better. So, I've really been looking forward to that movie ever since I've seen the preview for it.
Awesome, Jeremiah.
Yeah, number five, Lion King, because Disney. Can't wait to get back to some old roots like that and see it live action. Number four, Star Wars, because again, Star Wars, it's been going on basically my whole life and even before I was born. So it's good. It's just cool to be around in a span of like a 30-year saga is what it feels like.
And also because Disney.
And also because Disney. All hail Mickey. Number three, Zombieland 2. I loved the first one. and I'm excited to see just more of it and whatever celebrity cameo that they're gonna kill in this one. Yes, that's 2, motherfucker. Sorry.
All right. So our Jeremiah actually has Tourette's. So.
Number 2 is 21, 21 Bridges. That movie looks awesome. Apparently number 1 is going to be the World Cup final, but no. Yeah, so number 2 is 21 Bridges. Where was I? And then number 1, the movie I'm looking the most forward to, has to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a Tarantino film, and I'm a sucker for basically anything he does, and it just looks absolutely astounding from the standpoint of being an actor. To go watch that movie.
We need a on Jeremiah's behavior with sports.
Oh my god, that was good. So... All right, so let me finish off this top 5 movies list. For me, number 5 is, which I thought was odd that this is on all of ours, is Zombieland 2 Double Tap. They haven't even released a trailer for this movie.
I know. Yeah.
It comes out in October, and we're all super. It's on all of our list. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I think that just speaks highly of the first film, though. So.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
But number 4 for me would be Lion King, and I mean everybody's said, I don't know, remember if that was on Ryan's list or not, but was it?
Not.
Not? It was not on your list?
On my list.
Well, fuck you, Ryan.
Well, yeah, well, Terminator was on your list, so
Yeah,
I mean, anyways, going on. By the way, you can listen to a past episode where we talked about the Dark Fate trailer, and pretty certain that Ryan trashed that trailer, so I don't understand why that was on your list. But anyway, going on with my list. Number 3 for me is Joker. I think that Joaquin Phoenix is going to kill this role, and I'm excited just to see what what is going to happen in the movie, and to see how the story goes. So, but Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor, so it should be amazing. Number 2 for me would be Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I don't also know if I'm just super excited about this movie and the contents of what this movie will hold, or also I'm super excited about this movie ending as well, because I'm really, as Zach said, I'm ready to get past the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Nothing against all the movies, I mean, but this is the 11th movie in the Skywalker saga.
It's time
Rogue One.
With the time period and technology to do what they can do with Star Wars. That it's time for something new.
Yeah, so I'm excited to, the Knights of the Old Republic would be, where they're going to next. So I can't believe you've not played that first game, by the way. God, that's blowing my mind. Because the twist in that game is like the biggest twist in any video game of history. But number 1 for me, and it's kind of hard. I almost didn't put it because this episode is recorded on July 2nd, but comes out on July 4th, and it's Spider-Man Far From Home. So technically, when you listen to this episode, I've already seen Far From Home, but still my most anticipated movie of the year. But I'm giving an honorable mention to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well, because I took it off my list to put Spider-Man Far From Home. It wouldn't have been number 1, but that movie is not my normal movie, but the trailer just pretty much sold me on the movie, so I'm super excited.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do one last list before we bring this thing home, and it's the top upcoming video games for the rest of the year. And I'm going to start the list off because we skipped past me.
No, it's my turn.
Yep, well, it is your turn. You're right. You already got me once. But anyway, so we're going to go with my top 5 upcoming games. And number 5 for me is Sea of Solitude. After looking it up and stuff for this episode, I'm super excited about playing this game. and I'm pretty much, I think I'm going to buy this game when it comes out on the 5th on Friday, and so or at least to ask for permission to buy this game, and so I'm super excited about it. Number 4 would be Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Never been a huge fan of the Ghost Recon series, but the trailer has really done it. The gameplay I've seen has really done it. And, I mean, freaking Shane Castle's in it. So, that's what I call John Berthenol or whatever his name is. I'm super, super excited about the game. Number 3 for me would be The Outer Worlds. From what I've seen of this game, it looks like something that would be totally up most of our alleys. And so I'm excited to see more about the game, and what has been released so far has been good. So it should be fun. So, and it's also different than some of the other games that I have on my list. Number 2 for me is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. To be honest, I mean, I haven't always played all the Call of Duty games. I've hated a lot of them. They're a running joke. IGN will give them 10 even though they suck.
Yeah.
But whatever. But Black Ops 4 really did it for me. And I mean, that's been the most game that I've played all year long. But the Modern Warfare series has always been the crown jewel of the Call of Duty series. And to see this reboot of the series and see it told in a different way, but using some of the same characters and stuff. We already know that Captain Price is in it. And so, and just some of the things that I've seen so far of it, I'm pretty excited. I can't wait to see more. So I'm excited about the game. The number 1 for me was, I think it was number 1 on my list whenever me and Zach did the top 2 what we were looking forward to in 2019 at the episode 3 of the Good Stuff podcast. Whenever he was a guest on that episode. And if not, it was in my top 5 for sure. And number 1 for me is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I was backing this game before we even knew anything about it. That all we knew was the name of it and when it was coming out, and it was coming out in fall. We didn't know anything else about it, and I backed the game. And then I saw the game, and the more I see of it, the more excited I'm about it. I haven't been this excited about a Star Wars game since Knights of the Old Republic. So I'm super excited about this. Huge Cameron Monaghan fan, so I'm excited that he's playing the lead role, and the game is like Uncharted and Star Wars meet together, and so excited about the game. Can't say enough of good things, but I will let Zach go for his top 5 list now. Top 5.
All right, number 5, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Looks pretty good. I played a little bit of the one before it. Wildlands. It seems like it's pretty similar to Far Cry in a way. But it's also third person, and I mean third person is more of my style. Personally, I'm better at third person games. But I'm pretty excited for that. I might actually play this one. The reason I didn't play the one before is because I'm poor. I just played the beta. And then I couldn't afford the real game. So, yeah, just call me Poor Zach. And then for Modern Warfare, I've never really been a huge fan of, like Nick, the Call of Duty games. But we've been really into Black Ops 4 and doing the blackout mode and stuff like that. So I'm pretty interested to see where this goes in story mode and see if they come up with any other interesting multiplayer modes. And then number 3, Borderlands 3, even though on my top 5 list I wrote it wrong and put it Border Islands 3. But yeah, I mean, I love the original games, so I'm pretty excited for Borderlands 3. And then number 2, The Outer Worlds, which is by Bethesda, right? So, it's probably gonna be good. It seems just like it's gonna be like a Fallout, but in space or something like that.
That's what I took of it.
Planets and stuff. So Yeah, that seems pretty cool. And then, of course, my number one is Jedi Fallen Order, which um, finally looks like we'll get a really good Star Wars RPG. We haven't had a really good Star Wars game in a while, I think. So it's about time.
It is about time.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. But that's my list.
Ryan.
Okay. Number 5 for me.
Sorry.
Ooh.
I didn't know I had to tell you
number-
about that.
Number 5 for me is Shenmue 3. It's been 15 years since Shenmue 2, and I actually owned a Dream. I was one of those 1 in 1,000 people that actually owned a Dreamcast. So I've been looking forward to the release of this game and the end of the storyline for a long time. And I'm really excited for it. Number 4 for me will be Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Same thing that Zach said. It'll be really nice seeing a good Star Wars game. That we haven't had a good one in a while. Number 3 for me is Borderlands 3. I played the hell out of Borderlands 2. The new DLC was freaking hilarious. I enjoyed every moment of it so far. Number 2 for me is Wolfenstein Youngblood. I am super excited to play a Wolfenstein game. And, of course, number 1 for me is Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Which one, though?
Yeah, you can only pick one. You can put one as an honorable mention, but you have to only pick one. Sword or shield?
Shield.
Shield? Okay.
You chose poorly.
All right, I guess I'm up. Yeah, my top 5. We got a lot of similarities on all of our list. My number 5 is going to be Breakpoint, Ghost Recon, Breakpoint. The trailer just really sold me on it. It just looks super interesting. The cinematic one. I haven't seen any gameplay trailers yet, but it looks awesome. Number 4 is Pokemon Sword. I don't really care about Shield. I'm judging. So yeah, it's gonna be that it's Pokemon. It's been my whole life, and it's gonna get me to probably get a Switch, which I'll need one anyway for a little daughter that's coming to have something to play. I'm not just gonna let her play Metro at 3 or something like that. Anyway, number 3, Modern Warfare. It's gonna be so exciting to see the adventures of sweet baby daddy Price come back. And I'm really pumped to see what else they bring back from all of that. I know like 90% of those characters are dead, but it's going to be nice to see. The Call of Duty games have always been awesome at their campaigns and having very story-driven heaviness, and it's going to be so cool to see that come back.
I'm excited that you're getting it so you can play with me and Zach.
Yeah, boy. Number 2, Outer Worlds. It looks like the Fallout game that everyone's been hoping that a Fallout game would be, when each one comes out. And I hope that it lives up to that hype of the description of what they think it might be. So I'm pumped for that one. And then my number 1 game, because it's been such a damn journey to get to this point, is Death Stranding. I cannot wait for that game to finally come out.
Zach almost doesn't believe that game will come out yet, so I don't think that's why it made his list.
I'm still waiting on one more delay to happen, but
I still, I almost put it on my list, but I'm like, am I actually excited for it? I don't even know, so I'm just, waiting, I guess.
yeah.
Until the box, is in your hand, it doesn't exist. I don't think.
Then you unwrap it and open it, and it's just a picture of a middle finger.
You just get a dead baby. Like a fetus, just laying there.
God. Wow, what a great way to end the show, guys. I'm gonna bring this on home after that. What if that's okay with the rest of you?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Stem cells.
Oh my God. Okay, devolving so quickly, the show has. Thanks, guys, for taking 2 hours out of your day to listen to us talk about the first half of 2019. I'm sure we'll be here at the end of the year to talk about the rest of 2019 overall. Thanks for taking each and every week to listen to the Good Stuff Podcast. Don't forget about all their social media pages like Facebook.com/Blind Bandit Productions, Instagram, Blind Bandit Productions, Twitter, BBP for real, and then YouTube.com/Blind Bandit Productions, and then the website, blindbanditproductions.com. I think I named them all, correct, Zach?
Correct, you did. Good job.
Thank you, man. My friend. I didn't even write them down. I just pulled them off of a website. I call it the Ryan. Don't forget all the great places you can listen to the Good Stuff Podcast, like Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Stitcher, and I'm sure another one that I completely forgot. Podbean. That's where our show is on. But leave us a review on iTunes or leave us a review on Facebook. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Let us know what you like least about Ryan because he talked bad about Keanu Reeves.
And let us know how he did on his lists.
If you think he BS through them, vote yes now.
Just call 1-800 Good Stuff Podcast and vote 1 for yes, 2 for no. And 3 for maybe.
Ryan just called and voted 1. What the hell, Ryan? Yourself. We love Ryan so much. By the way, we all phone and joke around with each other, but we all like each other fairly well enough to work with each other on a regular basis. And all 4 of us work in the same company together and put everything out together at the same. So obviously we care about us a little bit. Don't forget, also this past week on Monday, we released the first BBP sketch, which was a huge accomplishment. Let's give him some credit here. Ryan directed his first thing, the first BBP sketch, Getting Ready, which he also starred in with Sarah Ring. You can find that on our YouTube page. Give it a like or give it a view. If you like it, give it a like. Leave a comment.
He did award-worthy of performance.
Yeah, so I mean, but enough of trash on Ryan. I think it was a big deal that he should at least get credit for that, of directing his first thing. And so he's doing already. He's got the BBP sketches rolling off on a good thing, and him and Sarah are going to be cooking up some more, right, Ryan? So
we're working on several more.
Yeah. So even though we give you a hard time, I just want you to know that I was proud of you for directing something and holding that little sketch together.
And it's really funny too because it's #relatable.
Yeah.
It's a funny short. I enjoyed it a lot.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. But anyway, guys, that is all that we have for you this week. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. #good stuff.
Yes, that's 2, motherfucker!